You're live.
Hey, everybody, welcome. Welcome. Hi, Jackie. It's so good to hear you
Hi.
say that. That is such a good thing to hear. That we know we're in the right place whenever we hear
Yeah,
that.
well, I
And
wasn't. I was
hopefully,
lost.
She's a bit
hopefully we
feisty.
have,
She's a bit feisty tonight. She's had a few.
okay,
I'm
good.
not feisty.
Um,
I had a couple drinks. That was all.
hopefully we have a
being
good,
He's always feisty.
hopefully we have a good feed. Let's see who we've got all on here. Because I am out in the wilderness, as you guys know. I do see Esther. Hey, Esther. And David, Suzanne, there's Joe, Julian, Kitty. Good to see you. Glad everybody got into the room here today. Of course, Jane's here. I'm sure Neil is inbound. Hi, Mary and Michaela. Good to see you, Coral. Star, Janet, Coila. More people than we can even fit on the screen. Of course, Heather's here. Allison, Susan, Tom, Mark.
John.
Good to see you guys. Hey, Nikki. All right, so we are going to have a little talk today. Hopefully you guys, hey, there's Carlene, one of my favorite people on planet Earth. There she is. We're going to have a talk today. And if you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook, hopefully the feed is okay, because I'm a guest on a Wi-Fi signal that I've never used before. So let's see how that goes. But interestingly, I just had a conversation with someone about the transition from employee to entrepreneur. And I think this is, well, it's a topic that has come up again and again. I think it's one that we could review with everyone who's here, regardless of what enterprise you're pursuing. I know we've got a lot of people doing e-commerce. We've got a lot of people doing like network marketing kind of stuff. And some people building like brick and mortar things, right? Or looking to advance in real estate. We've got people who are looking to run like Airbnb kind of stuff, like what I'm sitting in right now. And a lot of times the background conversation that goes along with that is, dare I leave the security of my job? Now, I know we've talked about Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrants, right? So he kind of codified it into this idea where you go from employee to a different quadrant would be self-employed. So you've got a bit more control there, but you're still kind of trading hours for dollars to a large degree, very linear type income. And then business owner. Oh, so now we've got leverage. Oh, look, there's my employees. Thank you for the leverage, right? You've got more control, less labor, let's say. And then the fourth quadrant is I for investor, right? So now it's pretty much hands off, right? It's like, I'm going to invest in you and your business and your competence. Yes. And you're going to grow my investment because you're competent. I'm not competent. You're competent. Here's some money, right? So people invest in competence. And right there is the trick. If we look at that, if we take those quadrants and we spread it out, or like we put it on a mountain, like on a gradient, okay? Not that it has to be a linear progression, okay? Because it can certainly, you can jump around, okay? But if we said the bottom of the mountain was employee and the top of the mountain was investor, okay? And this is arbitrary. I'm not telling you that investor is better than business owner. In some ways it could be, in some ways it could not be, okay? But let's look at that gradient. So employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. What do we invest in? All the way down the line. We invest in competence. And a competent employee, I remember when I was learning to be a diesel mechanic, right? I was told by one of my instructors, because I had a little bit of an attendance problem at that time. I still passed every test, but he said to me, you know what, John, if I was hiring, I would rather hire a good mechanic who showed up every day than an awesome mechanic who I wasn't quite so sure. Right? So that's interesting. Do you show up? That's most of the show right there. You know, I've been given a lot of credit for for doing things that I don't find extraordinary. And yes, I suppose we have a tendency sometimes to discount or deprecate, you know, the value that we actually bring. In fact, I've had this conversation with you guys. Doesn't everybody already know this stuff? Oh no, don't assume that, right? So don't discount the value you bring. But one of the values that you bring, hopefully, is that you're the guy or the gal who shows up. I was talking to a client just yesterday. This is a client in the financial services space, okay, which I also work in. And this person said, I was talking to another rep, advisor, whatever, and they never got back to me. And now I'm confused and I don't know what to do, who to talk to, where to go. I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, you're on the phone with the right guy. You just called the right guy because I'm the guy that shows up. We're going to create some order here, my friend. Order. I like order. I hate randomity. I like order. Okay. So I will get back to you. I'll get some data. I'll get this handled. I was saying to this client. And I said, will you give me a couple of hours? And they said, oh, yeah, you can call me tomorrow. I was like, tomorrow? I don't like that word. How about in a couple of hours? She said, okay. Damn, we got it handled in an hour. Does that make me special or something? I guess it makes me intentional, and it makes me a person who doesn't let go. Well, I think you guys already know that. I tend to not let go. Like once something's working, I don't let go. Hence, everything we're doing here. But we've got yes, real benefit being delivered into the marketplace, and that comes via the value that you create as a competent operator or delivery rep or whatever the role is. But here's the thing that goes two ways. So while we may have the tendency to as I just cited about myself, to not let go of something that works. Does your job work? Let's say you're working a job right now. Does it pay the bills? Yeah, of course, or you wouldn't show up. That's pretty cut and dry, right? That's like A and B, black and white. Yes, they pay me to show up and do the job. Now, in some of your cases, you've been displaced with COVID and everything else, right? So that's less certain. But I think we like certainty. We like to know, yes, this works. Let me keep doing that. Here's the cheese. And I know where to go and get the cheese. Do we abandon that cheese for better, bigger cheese? That's the question. And I think right there, the question of competence, right? The whole consideration is, am I willing to bet on me? Yes, am I willing to bet on me? Do I really have the vision, the fortitude, the integrity, the constitution to abandon or transition out of this comfort zone, as miserable as it may be? I'm not saying you enjoy, having a ceiling over you or answering to some agenda that you didn't originate, right? Lots of people do. Lots of people, it's like, hey, that's my life, it's just same old. We work our 8 or 9 hour shift and we go home and watch our TV, the best of the worst of the best, whatever they're showing these days. And that's life, don't you know there's limits to everything? And it's not so bad. This is the conversation of the masses, the herd mentality, which I guess, you want to do that's fine. And look, thank goodness, right? I walk into the store, there are employees there, they service me, right? There's the cashier, ring up the stuff. Hey, I'm not sure which item to buy. Can you help me? Oh yeah, I know all about these TV sets or whatever. Here's the one that's got the features you want. Thank you. Decision made. Thank you for helping me. You just saved some time. So there's certainly massive use for that in any organization or any capitalistic type system, right? So you've got people who are creating opportunities and people who are accepting those opportunities. Yes, I'd like to perhaps not have to be so personally marketable, right? Like back in the days of old, when the blacksmith had to sell his services to the guy with the horses, the guy with the fence, right? I'm going to go make the metal for you now. Here's the horseshoes, the fence post, right? You were personally marketable. Every day you were looking for another job. You didn't have just one job. You had multiple jobs, or you went hungry, right? So that's personal marketability as an individual. That's a self-employed person. You know what? Let me go ahead and put all that aside because you're going to go ahead and give me one job. This is what happened in the Industrial Revolution, by the way. And there was a lot of criticism about it. And people were moving out of the farms and into the cities because now they've got the security of one job. That's very seductive, right? For those who would rather not do the hardest work there is, which is thinking, right? Henry Ford said thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably why so few people engage in it. Yeah, just go ahead and click the button and pull the lever and we're going to make cars over here. Okay, sign me up for that. But I don't think that's any of you. Right? Are you satisfied with that? No. Okay, great. So here comes the fear. Here comes the trepidation of, do I bet on me? Am I really someone who has got what it takes? And look, if society has been telling you again and again, just be satisfied with what you got. Or don't you know there's limits to everything? Or hey, it's not so bad. The purpose of the herd is to keep you in the herd. That's herd talk. That's the cows on the cow pasture. chewing their cud, right? Stepping in their own crap, waiting for the slaughter, whatever, insert metaphor here. But you're a rhino. You're charging through the jungle. You're not satisfied with eating the grass on the cow pasture. And against the good opinion of the cows, you choose to leave the pasture. Is that scary? Yeah. Yeah, that jungle. I don't know where the grass is in that jungle. We're going to have to eat some thorns and stuff too. Oh yeah, and there's hunters shooting arrows and stuff. It's not always a happy scene. But my goodness, sit here and wait for the slaughter? Am I willing to charge through the jungle? Well, are you competent? Do you believe in yourself? Do you bet on you? How long is the horn sticking out of your head? How thick is your skin? Thin like the cow or 2 inches thick like that rhino that could smash down trees? Now, maybe as a young, this is actually a play on my friend Scott Alexander wrote a book called Rhinoceros Success back in 1980, directed more towards like home business entrepreneurs. Hey, we're going to go be successful selling, network marketing or, typical low entry point, home-based business kind of stuff. But still, they had to grow some rhino skin. So you may be a young fledgling rhino, right? Who's venturing into the jungle for the first time, right? Remembering that, oh my goodness, I'm not a cow. I may have been born on the cow pasture, but I'm really a rhino. Can you do this alone? Probably not. Probably not, right? Roger Bannister ran the first 4-minute mile. Up until that point, nobody could do it. In fact, the experts said the human, cardiovascular system isn't capable of doing such a thing. The ancient Egyptians used to turn a lion loose to see if they can get the guy to run a mile in under 4 minutes. They all got eaten, right? And now that Roger Bannister did it with subpar equipment and whatever, he did it. Now, of course, if you can't run a sub 4-minute mile, don't even bother showing up, right? Everybody can do that. So think about that. There's a visionary, and we're thankful for those visionaries who demonstrate to us, who give us an example. Here, look, here's evidence. I guess that's not impossible anymore. Okay, cool. Okay, but for the most part, I think all of us, whether you need it or not, okay, and I guess this is your own self-assessment, but I think all of us could use a bit of guidance, right? I'm not looking to be a pioneer necessarily. Pioneers take the arrows, right? Let me be the student. Let me be the student. So I guess if there's any one thing that we could assign to ourselves as yes, I'm willing or unwilling, yes, I'm going to bet on me or not, it would be the willingness to be the student, the willingness to see what others have demonstrated who've come before us and say, you know what, I can do that too, or not, right? That's really the trick right there. Regardless of what industry, what enterprise we're pursuing, can you come up with certainty and with confidence in this statement, like you're not lying to yourself, I can do it too. If so, you're a good bet. I bet on you, right? If you're not sure, this whole mamby-pamby, I'll try. Oh my goodness, I'll try. No, keep your job. Keep your job, right? And sometimes there's a gradual transition, right? I mean, yeah, we keep the lights on here while we're building this over there. That's fine, right? People have multiple opportunities, enterprises going on, multiple streams of income, right? So that's smart, especially when you're very prudent, with your expectations. I know a lot of our friends here building Amazon businesses, right? That isn't a money bath overnight. I mean, I suppose it could be, right? The old saying, you can't win them all, you can't lose them all either, right? You could have a hit right out of the gate. Okay, nice. And assuming that's sustainable, then yeah, maybe it's time to give notice. Okay. But who's doing it? It always comes down to that. Always. Be, do, and have in that order, right? The hierarchy at the top is be, who is doing it. And then what do you do, of course, which brings you to what you have, right? So if we look at that as a complete cycle, right? It's like you've induced an intention, which leads to action, which leads to results, right? So you got focused intention that leads to action, that leads to results. And as we talked about yesterday with the upward spiral, oh, that's a pleasing result. Look, I just did some high integrity work. I rock. I'm friggin' awesome. Who's doing it? Oh, that awesome person. And it goes up and up and up, right? So that whole be, do, and have pyramid or whatever keeps getting bigger, stronger, faster. Isn't that beautiful? But without a good dose of self-belief, what are we betting on here? And I say bet, it's not a gamble, really. We take calculated risks. There's a difference between risk, and chance. Chance is go to Las Vegas and see what happens. I'll tell you what happens. The casinos weren't built on winners. That's what happens. Okay, you get to lose. So, what do you guys think about this? I'd love to hear from you. Where did this all come from? This came from you. I was just having a conversation with one of our esteemed members here in the Mastermind group, and this whole idea of transitioning from employee to entrepreneur in whatever form was on their mind and in their emotions, and it really came back to who's doing it, who are we betting on? Wayne, what thinks you, sir? And then we'll go to Bill.
Morning, John. Hey, yeah, just interesting conversation and talking about security of the job. COVID-19 kind of proved that for me that there is no job security because the job kicked me out, so to speak. So I like the analogy of the rhino as well on the thick skin. I threw there in the post. In Australia, they use a term called tall poppy syndrome. Anytime somebody starts to rise above the crowd, they try and chop them off and bring them back to the same level. So definitely thick skin is required. And I know various cultures have similar types of thing, but I mean, I think humanity as a whole, and Stuart nailed it there with something he threw in the post too, just about both being sheep and shepherds and trying to keep ourselves in the pen. So I thought that was pretty good. So yeah, I like that analogy this morning, and I think there's a bunch of thick-skinned people here, and glad to be part of them and moving forward with them in uncertain times here.
Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, I don't want to do this alone, right? There's other rhinos who have walked this path. So thank you so much. Where's Bill McDonald? My brother, Bill.
Hi, John. Can you hear me?
I sure can, brother.
Good day. Good morning. How are you? Hope you're well. You're looking fresh, as is everybody else, as usual.
I shaved just for you, Bill. Just for you.
Probably I didn't. Yeah, absolutely what you're saying today. I agree with Wayne. There are a lot of thick-skinned people here, and it's meant in the nicest possible way, because if we weren't thick-skinned, we wouldn't be here for a start. I was away getting some massaging done today, which was pretty cool. But just on the chat with the girl that was working on me, she couldn't get over the change in my attitude from the last time I saw her, which was about 4 months ago. And I give her the lowdown on yourself and the gang that's all here. But where this led to was it has boosted my confidence. I'm quite happy. In my previous role, I was quite happy to run into anything, be it danger or what. Didn't bother me because I basically believed I was invincible. And touch wood, I'm still here after numerous close calls. But I think you've got to have that attitude with this whole process, and you cannot sit back and be that sort of indecisive person, because as sure as shit, you will get knocked off the edge of the perch and you will fall like a stone. You've got to have that mentality. And it's something I used to tell some of the younger guys I work with when they would have maybe said, but what other qualifications have I got? All I used to say to them, hey, do you know how good you are, guys? They pay you every month to turn up. That's how good you are. They need your skills. So, and that's what we all need to be telling each other all the time. These guys out there need our skills because we have them in spadefuls. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah. So the observation and acknowledgement and validation of your own worth, beautiful stuff. And I know you and I have had a couple of conversations about that. So glad you're here, my friend.
So am I.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go to Ivy. Hey, Ivy, what you doing?
Hello, John. Hello, everyone. I haven't spoken in a while, even though I dial in. I think the last time I spoke, I said that I had decided to be all in. And I think the universe and everything else heard me make that statement. So thought, okay, we're going to test that resolve and see how committed you are to this. So going back to what you were talking about yesterday, pretty much after the call, I got I guess, worrying news, if it was old me, that my dad had been rushed to hospital, and that he was having fainting spells, and I literally couldn't talk or anything. And I just had this calm come over me. I mean, I wasn't worried. I didn't start fretting. I didn't, start crying. And I pretty much just reached out to my sisters, and I said, look, guys, this is not, the time to throw our toys out of the cot. He's going to get better. He's fine. And they've all kept coming back to me saying, how is it that we talk to you and you're just the voice of reason? I mean, everyone's freaking out and wanting to see if they can get a ticket or get to where dad is. And you're just calm about this. And I'm like, well, there are a few things I've been doing and people I've been hanging out with, and I think they're rubbing off on me, and books I've been reading and all of that. And they're like, I need to speak to you every day. So, on the family side, that's rubbing off. And then coming back to today and thinking about myself, at work, I've been going through, something really major for the last 2 years. And I just made a decision a couple of weeks ago to say, you know what, I'm going to put my energy into positive stuff. I want to move forward. I'm not going to dwell on this anymore. That it's just negativity, and it's been going on for 2 years. And I thought, I don't want the next year or the next two to be more of the same. And so I had a meeting with some senior members of staff this afternoon, just before this call. And I just came out right and said it. And I said, you know what, I don't know where this process is going to end, but I'm drawing a line in the sand right here, right now, because I think I'm worth a lot more. I think, the value that I have to offer the organization is a lot more than what you see in me. And I'm not going to keep waiting for you to validate who I am. I'm going to tell you what I know I am, not what I think I am, and what value I can add to the organization. And so I started listing off, things that I had gotten, involved with or involved in the last month or so. And you could just see the shock on their faces, thinking, how come we didn't know that this individual was doing X, Y, and Z? And I think that gave them a lot of food for thought. And so that meeting was probably the shortest meeting ever that we've had on the subject in the last 2 years. But that was just because I just thought, enough already. I don't want my tomorrows to be full of this. So I'm going to dictate the terms of this conversation. And I'm going to say, this is what I'm worth. And that's it. So it changed the entire tone of the conversation. So I just want to say thank you to everyone on here. And thank you to you, John, for saying to us again and again to go out there and make a spectacle of ourselves. Because I think between yesterday and today, I've definitely been doing that. And if the evidence is anything to go by, I think I should carry on doing that because it's working. So thank you.
Awesome. Well done, my friend. So now you've got more control.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Feels good.
Absolutely. I'm a different person. I'm like, bring it on. So yeah.
What question for you, Ivy? Was it was there some fear or anything going into that conversation or?
No, I just prepared for the meeting. So about 2 hours before, I spoke to probably one of my close friends in the business, and I said, look, I'm going into this meeting at 3, and this is what I'm thinking of saying. I've been mulling it over in my mind, but I pretty much decided, what do you think about it? And he pretty much said, well, I'm behind you all the way. I think you should. I think you've got your facts together, and I think you present a valid argument. And he said, what's the worst that can happen? You can go in there and they can disagree with you, but at least you make your position clear, and then they know not to take you for granted. So I just went into the meeting and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do this. I mean, I didn't even think, at the end, I thought, these are human beings. They're on 2 legs just like me. They might be more senior in the organization, but so what? I mean, I can be where they are tomorrow. I can be the head of my organization. I mean, I'm already growing my business. So I don't need to be afraid of these guys. I mean, I can go in there and say what I want. If they don't like it, they'll tell me they don't like it, but at least I've voiced my opinion and I'm wanting to be part of the solution as opposed to being the problem. And I think I went in there and they looked at me and they were like, we're so, amazed that you're in a positive space and, you want to do this and you want to change the conversation, you want to change the tone. And I just thought, where's the pushback that I thought I might get? But that never came. So, yeah.
Nice. Nice. So what did we just hear from Ivy? Definiteness of purpose, definiteness of decision, right? And what did Napoleon Hill say about when riches come, they never come by chance or luck, right? But in response to definite demands, right? There's services that they need, backed by the application of definite principles, right? The most common word that we just used in that last paragraph was definite, definite. Ah, nothing vague about this. Yes. Yeah, vague is not confident. Ah, good stuff, Ivy. Thank you so
John.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else today? I got no other hands that I see. If you're new here to the forum, well, in this case, we could just do a free for all. But there's a little click the hand raising button, and it's somewhere. Anyway, anybody else want to talk? Oh, Susan. Hey, Susan, what's going on? Susan. Uh-oh. Where's Susan? Where's my friend Susan? Let me see if I could force unmute your microphone, Susan. Are we on? Susan. Her camera's not running either. Susan? No? Okay, no Susan. We'll go back to Susan. Anybody else want to talk? Free for all. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Hey.
Hi.
Yolanda.
Hi, John, everybody. Yes. Thinking about what Ivy was saying, that everybody around her felt that she was changing. I feel the same. And I was wondering, can we invite everybody to these calls now? Are they open to anyone?
Yeah,
I mean,
this week, one of the things that I'm working on this week is creating some order in terms of, participation and membership. And I'm working on some of my own stuff in terms of course material, things that I need to put out. Actually, I need to write another book. I'll get to that probably not this week, but I'll come up here again. But yeah, at this point, it's pretty much free for all. If someone's on purpose and looking to apply personal development concepts into their life in some typically entrepreneurial capacity, yeah, bring them.
Because I think so many people need this. We all feel so well. We all feel that we have changed. That I would like to invite people to feel the same, to get this what we're getting here. So if I have your permission, I'm going to invite somebody here. Is that okay?
Yeah, do it. And then, yeah, well, of course, anyone right now, we got public watching us right now on YouTube and Facebook. So that's cool too. Anyone can obviously watch. But if you want to join the conversation while we're putting up, whatever and limitations on membership, right? Because I can't have 10,000 people on here.
Okay.
Right? So, but yeah, right now the getting's good. So get in. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for the acknowledgement, Yolanda. I'm glad you're getting value. All right. So I hear a couple open microphones, and I do see Susan in SoCal and Koila and 8 Limbs live stream. So, Koila, can we try you? Koila?
We can.
There she is. Let's go to Koila next, and then I'll mute the other microphones so we don't have any background noise. Go ahead, Koila.
Yeah, on today's subject, it's a well done, Ivy, is all I can say. You're a star. Good on you. And I started thinking a few days ago about preparing my resignation letter, and I actually started on it this morning. And I've got an interview for a different job that I was talking about a while back on Monday. So we'll see what happens there. And a couple of points to do with what you were saying yesterday about motivation and upward spirals and downward spirals. And you were asking for examples. Well, I find that everything I do takes an amount of energy to start. It's like an activation hump you've got to get over before you can get into the flow. And it depends on how big that hump is. I think kind of depends on where you are and what things are like. So for example, when I was looking after people and was at the kind of peak of everybody being the most difficult to look after, and my life was the most stressful, I suppose. It was all I could do to even decide to make a phone call. You know, that took an extreme amount of forcing myself to actually pick up the phone and dial the number and do whatever it was I had to do. It was like I was almost overwhelmed with stuff. And of course, as that situation changed, so things got better. But I still find that it always requires a bit of a push to do almost anything. It's just the degree of the push. And once you've actually got over that hump, that little activation bit that you need to do, it's much, much better. It always feels better once you've done it. It's just the forcing yourself to, well, not forcing, you know, it's the kind of getting up the enthusiasm, I suppose, to actually get going. That's all I wanted to say.
Right, right. Inertia, we've talked about that plenty of times. Yeah, and overcoming that. Getting off of zero, as I like to say. So thank you, Corla, and thank you for being an example of that for all of us to look at. Look, she's moving. Oh, I can too. Me, yeah. Oh, I could do that, right? So I can do it too. That's, I guess, our sort of theme or our tagline for today. Good stuff. Who else? We've got 8 Limbs live stream. Who is 8 Limbs live stream? Who is that?
That's me, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Hi, John. Sorry, guys. I teach yoga. Part of you, I hope some of you know that. And I was teaching last night. I forgot to sign out of my Zoom. Before I say what I want to say about today, just John, now that I have you directly, thank you so much for coming back. I, like everybody else, I think has been so impacted, positively impacted by you and this group that you've created. And to everyone, I feel inspired and really anticipate each morning getting on the call and feeling and learning from each of you. So thank you so much for everyone for getting this thing figured out. On the topic of today, Wayne, would love to have that rhino skin that you're talking about. I don't think that I have a thick skin at all. And I think that's one of my weaknesses. I feel I'm very sensitive human being. And so I'm very sensitive to other people. I feel deeply, and I think it's hard for me to, what I think a thick skin means is like being really tough, like knowing my stuff and just being unstoppable. And I don't quite feel like that. But what I do have in the conversation is I know how to show up. I show up fully in my teaching. I show up fully in my relationships. I show up fully in everything I put my hands into. So that's a plus side. But I want to say also that in terms of value and knowing my own value, man, there's some work to be done there. So one of the things that's happening right now is my Amazon account is not opened yet because it took me a long time to get something settled to allow me to get a residential lease and to get bank accounts. And now I've got to wait, right? So that's an Amazon thing. I know not everybody's in it, but so that's just sitting on the side. In the meantime, I'm also thinking, well, I was going to use this as a transition period and then eventually let that thing grow. But so I've been applying for some other jobs, and I have been working on this job application for about a week, and it is just impossible. And I started thinking, why is this so hard for me? It's because I know my value is greater than $40,000 a year for 50 hours a week. And I'm still trying to do that thing. So any support around that would be amazing. I haven't made that leap yet. And so that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Nancy. So you're currently supporting yourself with the yoga instruction work that you do?
And unemployment, yes. Okay. Which is barely, right? So it's not a full deal.
Okay, so what would be the minimum target income, the standard that you must reach on a monthly basis, let's say?
4,000.
4.
Mm-hmm.
Not 40.
No.
4.
4,000. A month, yeah. That would be like minimum, yeah.
Right. Okay. To me, that sounds exceedingly doable, like very, 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 very doable. And while you could, and this isn't Dear Abby, and here I am giving you the gospel according to John or something.
Right.
This is my perspective of you, Nancy. And anyone else can own this, right? So right now, Nancy and I are in a dialogue, but try this on for yourself. Does anyone else that you know of with your skill sets, which you may or may not be applying right now, probably aren't, okay, but does anyone else make at least $4,000 a month doing what you could be doing? Yes, clearly yes. Oh my goodness, there's at least 50 of them on here right now, right? Not to mention however many other people could virtually be saying, yes, me, of course, right? Nancy, I went, I just had this conversation with someone recently about when I transitioned from employee to entrepreneur successfully. Okay, so there was certainly some, less than spectacular, results that led up to this. Okay, but when I finally made that transition, going back 20 years or so, it was because the pain of not changing, as the saying goes, was greater than the pain of change. And my job was killing me. I was working 80 hours a week, getting my pay cut 3 times a year, ended up in the hospital with a stress-induced condition. And doctors told my newlywed wife, we had just got married a few months prior, your husband will be dead within 5 years if he keeps living like this. So what is that? That is a prompting, if you will, a high necessity level, which caused me to, dare I say, attract circumstances which would allow me to go to that next level in my life. You see, there's, I don't mean to sound, too metaphysical, although we could get into such things, but there is an idea that if you're swimming in shit right now, right, and the world is crumbling and Rome is burning, it's because you're getting really close to getting to the next level in your life. You can't maintain this plateau and reach this plateau. You can't straddle the cliff, so to speak. Like you got one foot on this ledge and one foot on that ledge. No, you must jump. And so if Rome is burning, that means you're getting really close to this. Okay, so that's one way to interpret that, right? So the circumstances may be uncongenial, but they will not long remain so if you but perceive an ideal and are willing to reach it. Goethe said that. I'm paraphrasing now a little bit, but the idea that you are going somewhere in your life and it's much bigger than where you're at now, your current station, your current post. Yes, you're outgrowing that post, but now you damn well better outgrow it, right?
Right. That's what it. Yeah, I'm straddling these two worlds, and it is taking so much of my energy. And I have a ton of energy to give, but I'm letting that just tax it. This is huge for me. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm not done. Here's the thing. What is this thing that you could do that you see others who make over $4,000 a month doing, and you've got those skills, you just haven't applied them yet. I'll tell you, for me, the great equalizer, for me, this is for me, and I know you've identified yourself as not having thick skin. Okay. Personally, I'm very sensitive too. I've had to learn. I've had to learn to be able to throw off critics, haters. Anybody ever seen that movie History of the World Part 1 with Mel Brooks? Right, it was a classic comedy. Mel Brooks, History of the World Part 1. There was never a Part 2, but anyway. In the movie, it starts with the history of man, right? And here's the caveman, and the caveman is making the first piece of art ever, right? He's painting with the berry juice or whatever on the wall. He's making a buffalo or something, and then the narrator, which was Orson Welles, talk about a great voice, right? Orson Welles, he said, and with the birth of the artist came the inevitable afterbirth of the critic. And this other caveman walks up and pees all over his art. He's like, right. So the inevitable afterbirth of the critic. So I'm sure I've got haters right now. I'm sure somebody's going to give me a thumbs down. Oh, right? Because of what? Because of the reality that's in their, not me, right? I take that personally. So here's the great equalizer. Getting back to what I was talking about, what solved the problem for me. Try this on for yourself. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But nothing happens in terms of commerce, exchange, money, currency, right? Nothing happens until somebody buys something. What's the opposite of that? Sell something. Sell and buy. The two go together. Can you sell? Can you communicate your enthusiasm for a product, a service, a benefit to another to the degree where their enthusiasm is augmented and now they can exchange some money with you, right? This is good. Wow, I look at this. I like. You might like it too. Oh, I like it too. Oh, great. You can pay some money. Fantastic, right? So that is sales. We all do it all day, every day, whether we know it or like it or not. Okay. Some people are like really whacked out. Oh my goodness, sell. Oh, that's a 4-letter word. You know what? I like that 4-letter word. That's a good one. But I don't identify as a salesperson, or they've got some meaning attached to that, where that's manipulative, or those bad, evil salespeople or something. Hit the reset button on all that stuff. Nothing happens until somebody sells something and somebody buys something. What can you sell? Right. And I know you're pursuing Amazon stuff, right? That's certainly a method of selling. There's a bit more, as you already cited, some complication. Oh, we got to get the credentials. And, okay, great. But why do so many people fall back on, let's say, a sales job or something, which like a sales gig, which implies temporary, like I got a gig. Okay. So why do so many people fall back on that? Because they start making money right now. Not just $4,000 a month either. I had that crappy job, my last job that I ever worked, where it almost killed me, right? I applied myself to a tremendous degree. I was working 80 hours a week, but I had big goals. I had big targets. I was in the wrong vehicle. Don't marry the vehicle. Don't marry the vehicle. Okay. Marry the goal. But I had this goal of making $20,000 a month. I could never do it in that vehicle. They kept cutting my pay, which they called a promotion. Like, hooray for you, John. You're doing so great. Here's your promotion and here's your new pay plan, right? So I could never reach that next goal in that vehicle, okay? But I was making, what, $10,000 a month doing that. It kept the lights on. So I'm thinking, just based on your, maybe look at a way to make $8,000 a month using the skills you already have. You're a great communicator, right? What is sales? The transfer of enthusiasm. I'm communicating value to another person and they can buy or not. Right. But understand where that thick skin comes in is making the distinction between rejection, which is personal, and refusal. Right. Anyone who's communicating any idea, in other words, anyone who's selling anything to anyone, whether it's trying to get a date or I don't know, whatever. Right. Selling an airplane to a billionaire. Right. There's going to be refusal. Nothing to do with you. Right. That's personal. That's rejection. All right. So just kind of sidestep that whole thing, water off a duck's back, be on purpose. Right, and find ways to monetize that. And I say the great equalizer is sales. Even if you look at like guys like Robert Kiyosaki, and sorry guys, I know this turned into a monologue now, but I hope this you're getting something out of this. Kiyosaki talked about building his business and stuff, and Rich Dad Poor Dad was his first most famous book. And he said his rich dad, which was his friend's father, who was quite successful, he said go learn how to sell. Go work for, I think it was Xerox or something, selling printers or whatever, right? He said, without the ability to sell, to communicate, right? You can try and build businesses or whatever, but that's where the rubber meets the road. Go sell. I don't know if that works for you, what I'm saying here, but it certainly worked for me, Nancy. And you are so able. You are so able. 4,000 a month? Oh, please. Oh, please. Let's set a 0 to that.
All right, we're going to change it to 8. That's where we're going
All right.
Thank you so much, John and everyone.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Big respect to you. We got a bunch of hands up now. All right, we're going to go a little bit further here. So Susan, did we ever get your stuff running, Susan? Where is Susan? Let's see if I can force unmute her microphone again. No. Okay, well, hopefully we'll get Susan. Nida's here. Nida, come on out here, my friend. And then we got Mark and we got Michaela and we got Habiba and Adrian. Hey, Nida.
Hello, John. How are you? I'm
Good.
so
How
glad.
are things in the accounting and world and all that? Right.
It's been a little crazy the month of July because of the taxes, of course.
Yeah.
But that's over with, thank God. So my life is going back to normal. But in the last week, I got laid off from my furloughed position. And like Nancy, I actually felt relieved. Granted, I have a business. I've had a business for about 5 years now. I never gave it full time because I was making very good money with this job that I had. And when they finally gave the, the package saying, it's time to let go of employees because we just can't afford to have employees on furlough and paying their insurance and, their equipment being, and their phones and internet and service and all that stuff set up in their homes. I was actually relieved because I felt like I was already heading in a different direction. I said, this class has given me so much motivation, especially you, John, because I've read so many of these books and everyone is so enthusiastic, and that I didn't even think about it. When they sent me the letter that I had to attend a meeting, I was like, oh, I forgot all about them. Because for me, it was like, I was already heading in a different direction. I didn't even realize that I was still an employee for them. So when they sent me the letter and I went to the meeting, I had to laugh. There was some of my coworkers were like so devastated, and I'm like, I don't know why, but I understand. They're not going down the same path as I am. They haven't decided that's the way they wanted. They wanted something different in their lives, but I had already chosen that. So for me, it was like, okay, good. I'm glad I'm rid of that. I'm in a different position right now. My business, granted tax season is over with, so I make good money. I'm planning on using that to help me with the Amazon, going on with that business and dedicating more time to it to be able to really become successful at it, because I really want that to be part of my life. Not the only thing, but at least part of my success, my personal success. I think it was more harder for my husband because when I told him what had happened, he was like, oh no, what are you going to do now? And I'm like, what do you mean? I said, I've been going down a different path for months now. I mean, have you not even paid attention to what I've been telling you? And we ended up in an argument, but I was like, you know what? Because we're not at the same page, I get it. It's not about you. It's about me personally. And I love where I am right now. I said, I have the most supportive people in my life. I have a wonderful teacher. I have wonderful people who actually appreciate who I am because we're building together and I'm learning from them. And it's like amazing what I'm doing. And if you don't want to appreciate, you know what? It's because you're that 9-to-5 person who likes having a job. I don't want to be there. I was there for too long, for over 30 years. That's not who I am anymore. So I'm very happy where I am. I'm so happy that, so for me on Friday, when I saw all the emails going back and forth, and I'm like, what is going on? And when I finally got to saw your video, I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because John is my driver every day. I mean, he's the one who gives me that push along with everyone else. So when I actually didn't see it until last night, the email from Stuart saying that you have I'm like, oh my God, I finally can see the light again. So I'm so happy to be here. You just have no idea. I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to be with you again, because you have driven every single one of us in a way that I don't think anybody else has ever, at least for me, I feel like nobody's ever done this with me. And I want to continue that. So I am here for a very long time. If you decide to do something else, different meeting, whatever it is, include me, because I am right there. I don't care if I have to pay. I don't care what I have to do, but I am there because you're the most impressive person I have ever met. And I am so glad that you're in my life. And I appreciate everything you've ever done. So you know what? Bring it on, because I am right there with you. I don't care in which direction you head, but I'm heading right there with you. So count me in.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. I received that, and I know that you're getting back a reflection of things that are real for you. So I'm glad that I can be that, catalyst, if you will. But you are so able. Yes, you are, Nida. So, wow, what a great. Yeah, and yes, Susan, I am feeling the love. I hopefully we all are. So,
Yeah.
and Ida, if you got other people who are kind of like, where do we go? What do we do? Feel free to
Oh
share.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends that I've talked to about it, and they're like, and I said, well, it's a private meeting, but now I'm just like, okay, well, you know what? I think I'm going to let them know, because, you know, there's so many people out there who need that motivation, that drive, but they can't seem to find it within, like in my case with my husband, it's like a waste of time, but it's okay because he's part of my life, and I'm okay because as long as I'm getting this every day and this is my driving force, I'm okay with that, because you know what, I'm gonna get there, and with your help and everyone else that's involved here that have all been very inspirational to me, I'm gonna keep going. So I'm definitely going to invite them in, so that way they can also, you know, get that inspiration that everyone is seeking. And I said, well, I can't really invite because it's kind of a paid, you know, program. But now I'm not like, yeah, I can finally invite you guys. So I'm definitely going to bring them in.
Awesome. Yeah, we may do a paid membership type situation here.
Yeah.
Low cost. But right now we're just figuring out. Right now we just need a home. So I've got a home.
Yeah.
Here we are. So
can I just say something quickly?
You sure can. Oh my goodness, is that
Hi.
Star?
So I am going to make the inspirational words calendar, I've decided, from the chat of these groups, and from today I've got 9. So make sure you're on your toes, putting your best words out there. And once I have collated them, I shall share the calendar, and you obviously all have to sign your waivers or whatever, permission. But yes, keep putting your amazing, valuable words in the chat. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's spoken today. You've all been really inspirational.
Awesome. Thank you, Star. We got 3 more hands up. I saw Habiba, but I don't see her anymore. We got Mark, Michaela, and Adrian. What's going on with Mark? Mark Riggle.
John, good to see you. Good to see everybody here. This is such a great group. I hadn't really planned to talk today, but something just kind of compelled me. I hear what's going on with Nancy and Nida and just the whole group, and how Ivy jumped up here. And, you know, I wanted to share something with the group. It's kind of low level, but for me, it was a real milestone. And I want to thank Wayne, because Wayne, you know, who's talking about, well, I just kind of want to make some things work. And this whole time that we've been in this process, it's all about a mixture of theoretical stuff and practical application. And I've been doing this, well, hell, you know, since God was a corporal. I mean, you know, this is 4 months. And, you know, and I was wondering, okay, I've had my moments, you know, between the peaks and valleys, and I got all these sayings, but I believe it. And I sold a book on Amazon. So for $20, okay? So, you know, am I racing to the bank right now? No, but there's a message in all this. You know, it's the power of consistency. All these books we're reading, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the miracle morning, everything that we are doing, everything that is our essence now, the leadership that you have provided, the commentary, the mindset, all of it. Just don't give up. And you know, am I talking to suppliers? Yes. Am I negotiating with suppliers? Yes. Am I learning, you know, how to how to work with freight forwarders and all these things, you know, and Sophie's program and Kevin King and Helium 10, you name it. I mean, my learning curve is 90 degrees, and it has been, and I'm feeding from the fire hose. Okay. So, I mean, it's like this every single day. I've talked to Stuart, I've talked, you know, Bill, you name it. We have a whole crowd here. We all feel the same thing. But the point I want to make in all this is that small win just proved to me personally that you just got to stick to it, and you just got to keep pushing through. And then you get that little win, and you can do that little yes, and you can just move through that and then go to the next one, just little by little, and just keep working those wins. You know, talking to Ace, you know, the same thing. Anybody who needs the little you know, impetus, you know, this is where they need to come. This is the conduit between my start in the morning and where I go in the afternoon. And I take this with great faith with what we're doing. And I am committed. Ivy, you be committed. You know, I want to say one thing to Ivy, and I don't want to get too long-winded, but Ivy, you know, in the position you're in, and anybody who's in the same thing, if you're in a job right now and you are a supervisor or you're in any kind of capacity, you are an advisor. And the company leadership has an obligation, as you do, to be able to bring that information to the company. Whether they use it or not is different. And if you're in that capacity and that's something they don't want to use, that's fine. You know, put your ego in your back pocket and let it roll off. But if they're not using it, or that they're being sort of malicious or backhanded in their approach, that's different. You know, maybe it is time for you, you listen to that message, listen to the person that's sitting on your shoulder about that information and move on from there. Maybe you're not in the right or the most optimal position to be in, but you have an obligation to, you're smart, you have that capability, you stood up. I'll say one other thing about that, Ivy, that what you did that kind of really inspired me, because I've been in those situations too. We all have. It's that you proved a point to everybody in that room. And what you said to them is that I am strong, I will be heard, and I am competent, and I have something to say. Whether you use it or not is different. So that just changed their attitude, I'll bet, about you. So, you keep that up and you don't ever give that up. And to the group of us, all entrepreneurs, you do that for yourself too. It's your business. You need to be your own best advisor and you need to look to others. And that's why we're talking also about this whole thing about learning, learning first, kind of trust but verify, understand the processes first, and then you already have the answer. So ask the questions that you know the answers to see who you can trust and who is the person that you can do business with. And that's why you do that as well. So it's all encircling, but the bottom line is it all rests on you. It all rested on me. I made that milestone, and now, I mean, the jetpack is on. I got my JADOs, and I'm going forward, and it's just, I just proved it. Took me 4 months, $20, big deal, but I did it. The process does work. Just have faith and keep at it. That's what I got to say.
Thank you. Well done. There it is. And they're calling you the captain. It was your actual rank, right? You were captain?
I was a retired lieutenant colonel.
Lieutenant colonel. Okay. Yeah. So that's Lieutenant Colonel Mark right there. Awesome stuff. Thank you, brother. All right, we're going to wrap up with Michaela and Adrienne. Where's Michaela?
Hi, John. Hi, everyone.
There she is.
I wasn't going to talk tonight either, but just hearing all of your words just makes me want to talk a bit about me. And actually, John, when you said that you were very ill in your job, I feel like all my life I've had very stressful jobs. I had a difficult childhood. Then I worked for a business banking company for 15 years, and that was very stressful. Then I decided to go a completely different way in life, and I trained as a psychotherapist. And then I went into work in schools with young people, doing behaviour management and counselling, and that was very difficult. And I worked with young people from the age of 11 to 16, so I had a lot to deal with. Told to F off lots and lots of times by them and their parents. Just basically working with young people, turning their lives around. So basically what you're doing for us, John, is what I've done for those young kids. And what was interesting for me is that all through those times working in schools, parents, teachers, children used to say to me how amazing I was with them, what I'd done for their lives, how I'd turned their lives around. But I didn't see it because for me, I was just doing what I was doing from the heart because I wanted them to do well. I wanted them to have a purpose in life, to believe in, in themselves and their journey. And then when I joined this process, I can understand why all those kids were so grateful to me, because that's how I feel about you, John, and all this group. Because I'm getting from you what they got from me. And that is, I believed in them, and now you will believe in me. And throughout my whole life, as I say, I've had very stressful jobs. A few years ago, I got very ill from just the workload. And actually, when I left that job in the school, it was such a big job. They had to replace me immediately with 4 people. That's how big the actual job was. And now I'm working for a friend. And again, I'm working extremely hard, but I'm building his empire. And I've just had enough. I thought I'm not going to build other people's empires now. I'm going to build mine. This is my turn. And so I'm on it, I'm focused, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with your help as well.
Well, I'll keep showing up. You do too. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you. Glad you're here. Let's wrap up today with the mighty Adrian. Where is Adrian?
Hello, everybody. I thought we disappeared. I thought we disappeared off the planet. I tried logging on yesterday, nothing. I went through all emails, nothing. Went onto Facebook, nothing. I thought, John's left us all. John's left us all. How dare him? Then I got an email from, I think it was Jane saying, oh, it's still going on. I said, can you give me a link? Can you give me a link? So, so I got the link, and I've been late and back in work. So I've been really late from work. So I've got on it today to say hello to everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing brilliant.
So glad to be here with you.
I've only heard the back end of it about everybody pushing themselves, and it is about pushing yourselves. I've been doing this for 2 months now, and I put 5 products on there, and 3's failed completely. But it's not deterred me. I've got one going really, really well. I can't keep up. I've got a second one, what is starting to sell. I'm in the verge of ordering my 3rd one. It's just keep going, keep going, keep going. My target for the first 30 days, I must have underdo me, because I hit my target for £1,000 in the first 30 days. Now I'm over £1,600, and they're just flying off the shelves. Honestly, just keep on with it. Honestly, you're all doing a fantastic job, and I miss you all, and I will try to get on this as much as I can, but I'm back in work now, so if I'm not on there, I've not disappeared. I just couldn't get on. But say hello to everybody, and hope you're all doing brilliant.
Well done, Adrian. Good to see you. You're a ray of light in this community. Thank you so much for being here with us. And for everyone else, thank you. I think we had a great conversation here today. We went over an hour. We're going to get back together again tomorrow. If you got people who are wondering where did everybody go, enlighten them. Here we are, same bat time, same bat channel, well, new bat channel. We'll be back here tomorrow. And of course, if people are looking for the replays, you can find them on just John Lavenia YouTube or John Lavenia Facebook. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Shall I leave the room open? Did you guys want that today?
No, we're going to go over to Sharon's room if anybody wants to join us.
Okay.
John,
we made a bit of an agreement between us, John, that we wouldn't, because obviously there's a lot of blue sky stuff discussed on this, and if you're opening the forum up to people, to a wider audience that aren't blue sky related, it might not be relevant, they might get bored. So we just thought it might be more appropriate to protect everybody and yourself and your channel if we just took any blue sky discussions away from this onto another forum afterwards. We thought that was the most appropriate thing to do.
Well, that's fair enough. You guys got specific stuff you want to talk about with specific business opportunities and such. That's beautiful. We will be having various breakout rooms and things within this forum. In fact, that's one of the things I'm working on this week, is creating some order on all that. So, and Esther, I see your daughter, who is doing something to your hair. Good to see you.
Thanks so much, John.
Very good, you guys.
Thank
you.
It might compromise you a bit, so we didn't want to do that because it's all early days.
No, I'm just John Lavenia doing my thing. I'm all good.
How do we get to Sharon's room?
Yeah, where's Sharon's
Good question. You guys figure that out. I'm going to end the live broadcast. Thank you, guys.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.